and some recap. Where we left off, previously, you guys had traveled. We're gonna go back further back. You guys had traveled all the way north, um, to Haverlock Forest in order to find Waynon, a task given by Foreign, an older tutor from the Guild of Letters. Foreign explains that in hopes of following in the footsteps of his father, his son Waynon had illegally set course to the ruins of Thine, which is pretty much set with a secretive expedition arranged by key members from the actual guild. Foreign had presented your party with a fair amount of gold, in which you were to find Waynon and bring him back safely. After a couple of days traveling north and escaping creatures of all types within nature, you had finally arrived at the ruins and found the surviving members of the expedition, along with Waynon, who was injured after an encounter with like some marauders. Actually, it was when Waynon had asked all of you to venture in the ruins in hopes to find Trina, a dear friend of his, after convincing you with promise payment of upon delivering and returning with her. So, you took the opportunity to make some money as you ventured deep within the ruins and managing to survive encounters from mysterious creatures. You've discovered hidden treasures and also unlock knowledge that was forgotten. While doing so, you also found the whereabouts of Wayne's friend Trina, and along with that, an ancient machine deep within. You discover that it was somehow connected to the crystalline substance known as Mikra, which can be found all over Aedonas, actually, all over the world. During your encounter with Trina, she managed to activate the ancient machine, which had somehow granted each a gift, but causing a massive collapse of the unstable ruins. And in your attempt to escape, you managed to lose not one but two of your party members, not at that exact time, but escaping the ruins and trying to surface back from your adventure. After escaping, you would say, the clutches of the ruins, you rendezvous with the surviving explorers and set a course back to Vanir. On your way actually to Vanir, you encountered creatures of all kinds, some nefarious, some not so much, as you remembered seeing these mysterious giant figures that were thought to only exist within fairy tales. And along the way, you also met with a mechanical figure, which much so of a female design. After through examination and with the help of Hellscream, you managed to bring the ruined construct to life. It was when the Tinkerer in your party, Theo, quickly made the discovery of the fully functional automaton, a new discovery of what the Ark'Azians were capable of, actually. After some interactions with the lively construct, hold on a second. You managed to get the name and dub the name Voxy, actually, as she also shows the capabilities of manipulating nature around her. During your travels back to Vanir, Mechanicus had also the chance to summon his long-time friend Rupert, the unseen servant. It was when your wizard discovered the new form of Rupert that he had taken, as he projected like never before with features such as eyes, a nose, mouth, kind of a juxtaposition of a ghastly form that Mechanicus was used to. Through the discovery was short-lived when he was interrupted, though. Um, Following that, the next morning, you were making your way to Vanier as you would, and you encountered another band of blood ravagers, actually marauders. During which you had a difficult scrimmage. What looked like it was one-sided. You encountered what looked like some sort of blood creature, a blood pool of a monster, so to speak, that was summoned by the blood druid. And you quickly dispatched the druid, and doing so, the blood elemental that was fell as well. It was that moment when another large band of marauders were charging at your party. And Mechanicus, you had the idea to perhaps create another invisibility spell and obscuring your fellow comrades within your group. But you reach beyond your capabilities as you were trying to cast, of course, what was a higher level. But the chaotic nature of the incantation was beyond your control as you begin to destroy the life around you, siphoning the essence. As Mechanicus, you disappear. So does May, as she was the only one to actually benefit from what you were trying to achieve. Unfortunately, in doing so, you did manage to take damage from that as well, May, as he was siphoning the life and essence around. The Ravagers, as the rest of the group noticed, as didn't really have the chance to see Mechanicus and May disappear, but as you stand there, you see the Ravagers begin to close the gap between you. And doing so with an ear-shattering barrage of bangs, breaching through smoke of gunfire. A group of uniformed men sweep in with fixed long blades at the end of their rifles. As they cut through the marauders' flank like a well-trained machine. Actually, immediately you see them take action as a group, as one. What you notice right away is one of the soldiers grab your attention. He's wearing plated armor on various parts of his upper torso as he lunges forward with an arching swing with a massive halberd towards one of the ravagers. The bladed end sinks in, cutting halfway down the neck of the ravager, and followed with a fiery bang at the end of the blade. You see the target just gets engulfed with a small fireball, and once the fireball disappears, you notice resulting into multiple limbs flying off as if a shockwave coming from the end of the halberd. As you notice the rest of these uniformed soldiers taking advantage, dispatching the rest of them with quickness and ease. My music stop? I think it did.
It did.
Once you see the smoke settle, you begin to see them regroup, look around, killing off any remainders. What are you guys doing at this moment? You guys are a good 30 to 40 feet away.
May is seriously hurt and she's trying to figure out what damaged her. Does she realize that she's invisible?
You let's say roll a perception check, actually.
15.
What was that?
I rolled a 14.
A 14. Um, you're. This is the second time you've ever encountered getting, um, let's say, encountering your form to be non-existent. I mean, you can feel your body and all. Right away when you got hit, you had an idea that where it came from. As you look down and you see that your hands are no longer visible, as you can see, you can't see the rest of your body as you look down. You have an idea that it definitely had perhaps come from Mechanicus. Um, with that 14, I would say you you probably did get a small hint of incantation, verbal incantation coming from Mechanicus, since you weren't really too far from him to begin with.
Okay. I'm gonna just kind of start making my way towards the back of the group, like where everyone else is at.
Okay, and the rest of you guys, there's a quick moment where you do see the the soldier that's in clad. Um, by the way, it's not where it's a full suit of armor. It's more along the lines of wearing like garb, like a soldier would, without the armor, with parts being covered, overlapping the uniform itself. It's sort of
Like
like
reinforcement, like
right,
reinforced
right.
clothing.
Exactly. So the other soldiers, you notice that they're more along the lines of just wearing like thick wool, with uh, it's kind of like a grayish color, majority of it, and you could see some of them have it's like a gray trousers with high boots, and also with a jacket as well. It's not the same. It's not the soldiers that you're used to seeing with more fully clad armor. You can tell that these soldiers are specialized, as they all carry rifles, actually, as opposed to the more outdated soldiers with more armor and carry more melee types of weapon. These, you can tell, are more specialized, like a specialized unit. Um, Theo,
Has Theo
you've seen this before. Like you've seen this type of garb in the sense of, like, back home. You've noticed that there are, so to speak, like rifled infantries, and this is your first time seeing it within Lothesi, in this country.
okay? I mean, I put my hands up and my weapons up,
All right.
just identifying that this is a service, infantry kind of group, So um, I'm just waiting and I'm staying quiet and seeing them. You said there's a specific leader who he looks different and dressed and with that reinforced clothing, right? Like,
Right. And as you do kind of gesture, um, kind of getting their attention, the one in clad with the exposed armor, like on the top, it's kind of it's generally he's wearing more armor on one side going across. You see, it's like more specialized, like what you imagine is where he's trying to be more protected, as far as like going close in for close combat.
mm-hmm.
Um, he does wear what looks like a modified helmet. Um, it's sort of a almost like a call it K-pods. It's like, you know, like those old helmets we've seen with spikes on them, like those old 18th century ones. It's sort of like a modified version of that. The spike there is a spike on the top, but not protruding like insanely high. There is kind of like a small spike to it, and at the left and right on the flanking around his face, there is kind of like a side guard that's kind of going across, almost like a Centaurian esque addition to this helmet. As he removes it, you can see it's a chiseled looking, a younger, about your age, maybe perhaps like a mid-20s or a little older than that, male with dark short wavy hair. As he brings it down, as you could see on the other hand, he's holding his halberd, non-threatening as he's walking towards you. Well, just sad to say, want to give you a heads up. You don't have to worry about them anymore. Looks like on your end you took care of yourselves.
We held our own.
Mind if I ask, where are you guys coming from, actually? We really don't get any travelers coming, not much, through these regions. Bueller? Did I go through? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay. What are the rest of you guys doing at this point? Because I'm assuming he can't see May and he can't see Mechanicus. He could see Theo. He could see Hellscream, of course. Voxy on his back as this weird dummy that's he's really not sure what to think of. There are other members still in your party. You still have
Trina.
You still have Trina. You have Waynon with you as well. There is Roland as well, and
Thumruck. Yeah.
The others that were in your party, as far as the other guildsmen, those guys beelined back into that cottage that you guys just came from, which is not far.
Well, I'm just trying to remember everything. Now we came.
Yeah,
I mean, I tell him where we came from.
Yeah, quickly. As you noticed, Roland, as you noticed, you hesitated for a quick second to answer. He mentions, "Oh, we actually coming from Ganfield on our way to Vanier. We hired these men to escort us. As you could see, the men just ran back in the cottage. They're a bunch that can't really take care of themselves, so we hired a group of mercenaries. As you can see, it came handy." Well, yeah, it looks that way. Looks like it was quite a battle. He steps around where that area where the blood elemental had had dispersed, and basically it's just a large pool of blood. As he walks around and just curious to see, what had happened.
You ever seen one of those things before?
Oh, to him, it just looks like blood. There's no.
Oh, you didn't see the.
Yeah, it's just a pool of blood. And he's looking around. That's why he's saying it seemed like it was quite a battle. As he's looking at all this blood just sitting in this pool.
Actually, that came from one thing. One creature made out of blood. He was disorienting, to say the least.
Well, this is not the first time we've actually seen these savages linger around the region. Actually, I would imagine you probably saw the same thing. Creature, it looks like perhaps made out of blood, some sort of liquid. We've
Exactly.
ran into them at least once. Recently, I'm sorry, I'm rambling here. Well, if you like further assistance, I'm assuming you guys are heading down to Vanier. Like you said, we can at least guide you through halfway. I mean, our camp is actually south from here on the road. We took out a platoon here. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Inus, Lieutenant Inus.
Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant. The name is Theo Darshan.
Pleasure. You've looks like you don't get many of your kind around these areas. Are you coming from quite some distance, aren't you?
Yes, I come from a long way. Just exploring and seeing the other side of the country.
He looks over at Hellscream. I could say the same thing about you. I mean, not as far as this gentleman here, but don't get a lot of your kind around this area as well. What?
He just nods it off and grunts.
May I ask, what's the expedition for coming from Glenfield? Roland just steps in again. Well, actually, we coming from the guild, so we just about to meet the other chapter, actually. Well, it's good to have scholars with such confident fighters, I would say. Please, you can call the rest of you. We can start heading out. This is early morning. Perhaps to look for the turn. The clouds don't look like it's gonna be in our favor coming from the east. As he points that out, you notice that there is this dark gloom slowly coming from a distance.
Yeah, perhaps it's best that we head toward our destination. We appreciate any assistance you can give us.
What are the rest of you guys doing at this point? I know May, you're kind of just you're basically just shadowing the group at this point while you're in this invisible state.
Yeah.
Okay, and Mechanicus, you come to realize what you've done as you look around, and there is this dark, decaying spot around you. As you can see, the plant matter, in this brownish, dark brackish hue. As you see, it's a perfect circle laying around you with this decaying plant life.
Still invisible?
Say again?
Mike still invisible?
Yeah, you and May are invisible.
Okay.
Did Theo and the rest of the group see them go invisible, or it was kind of the heat of the battle? We just noticed that they were gone.
I was further behind you guys.
Yeah,
I was
she was
still
further
up on
behind. And she was
like,
closer
hilltop.
to Mechanicus.
Okay.
I'd say if roll with a disadvantage, go ahead and roll a perception check. As you do look around, You don't see May. You don't see Mechanicus.
A 5.
You said a 5?
10. A 10.
A 10. Oh, okay. Um, you look around. It escapes you. You really don't know what happened. You keep looking around corners, perhaps behind a tree or something. Nowhere to be seen. There's no clue what had happened to them.
So I guess do they start moving? The infantry starts moving, and I mean I'm looking around. I don't see them. Jeez. I look at Hellstream and I kind of whisper like, "Where did they go?"
Shit, if you don't know, what makes you think I do?
Man. Well, stay calm. Let's proceed. I don't know. That old man might be up to some tricks.
Hellscream, go ahead and roll another on your end. Roll a perception check as well with a disadvantage. Through the fray of combat and everything, not too sure if you had managed to see that as well.
Yeah,
13.
Yeah.
Say again.
13.
A 13. With a 13, you did see a you did hear a glimpse of Mechanicus rambling. You've already grown to used to the fact that when he does what you had heard definitely was that of a incantation verbally. So that was the last thing you remember with Mechanicus.
Good. I played dumb.
All right. So as you see the rest of the party, the explorer, the group of explorers, you do notice as they become, I'm sorry, excuse me, they begin to exit out of the cottage. There's a few of them reluctant, and some seem to be timid as they notice that these new addition of soldiers are among them now, especially that of the Lothesian army, essentially, from what it looks like. Actually, I'd say everybody go ahead and make a history check.
I was gonna say. Let's see.
Make this with advantage.
Say again.
Would I make this with advantage?
I would say not necessarily. You don't really specialize in like the military much. You do have a sense of history.
Okay, then I only got a 25.
Yeah, you only got a 25. Okay. What the rest of you had rolled?
7.
6.
7.
6.
And I heard a 6.
5.
And a 5.
Mechanicus.
Mechanicus, you're well aware that before you is the not the royal army. It's definitely the I'm sorry, not the king's army. It is not the royal. I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up. It's not the royal army, but it is the kingdom's army, which is which these individuals you definitely know are a a splinter off of the main units. You have a little bit of an understanding. When you did hear the name Inus, Lieutenant Inus, you know some of the history because his name plays into the royalty within Lothesi, one of the Princetons actually. As you know that there are different Princetons around depending on what region you're coming from. His name, as you know it, as Jaren Inus, which is the only son of the late Turgan Inus, which Turgan Inus was the last son of the Inus Princeton legacy, and the Inus family is the last amongst the Princeton families that still has their legacy name from the original Princetons. So you know that Lieutenant Inus is essentially the last of the Inus.
A lot of info.
Well, you roll pretty high. All right, so as you see the rest of the explorers come out, there's a quick moment. Those that do take notice when he talks about the weather, you could see from a distance the crackling of light coming, just lighting up different portions of the impending storm that's coming. Those that know it right away, this is some of its common lore. Coming from the east, there's these phenomenons called void storms, which is something that happens recurringly, like every week. Not knowing exactly where it's gonna land, but by the time it gets to Lothesi, it's pretty minute. It's not as strong as if you were towards the east, actually. Void storms, can be very chaotic, very violent. You did go through one earlier in the campaign when you guys were heading north, as you knew it as the electrical storm. But you do notice that there is that one impending storm heading your direction, as it normally does travel from east to west. As Lieutenant Inus, First Lieutenant Inus, as Mechanicus would know, looks back at the group. Well, on second thought, it's probably best if you come and join us in our camp. It looks like that storm is gonna head right over us, actually, and frankly, I'm not too sure if you want to risk traveling through that. Well, it's of course up to you guys. Not sure if you would seek shelter along the way.
Well, you being knowledgeable of the land, perhaps it'd be best for us to take your advice.
This is kind of where I grew up. Surprised you haven't heard of me, actually. This is part of the Inus Princeton, actually. We are within the Princeton, the Inus region. Oh, that song is getting kind of crazy. There's a moment where you see one of the other soldiers grab his attention. This one, you could see noticeably it's much older, a mature individual. You could see that there is a different chevron that he wears for ranking. as he pulls up towards Lieutenant Inus. Sir, looks like this will be the last of them. There's no signs of any other of the marauders. Well, we're not planning on staying here much longer, as Inus tells him. Looks like we have a storm heading our way. We might need to make way to camp right away. I'll alert the other men to begin scouting up ahead. As you see him take charge, and you see the other men that taking orders from this older individual, and as you can see, they start to fan out. Not fan out. They start to strategically place themselves ahead of the group in more of a staggered nature. You can see that they're pretty much at the ready with their weapons. As Inus, Lieutenant Inus, begin to take the charge in the middle. The rest of you guys?
Well, I'm gathering my things and looking at Hellscream and slowly kind of looking around, and just hesitantly will follow these folks, and looking to see if I see any tracks for Mechanicus or May as we're leaving.
All right, Mechanicus and May. I'm assuming you're going to be shadowing the group at this point.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of stay close near my companions than the other people.
Right. Mechanicus, how long does that spell last, by the way? The invisibility spell, I can't remember. Is it an
I
hour?
think it was an hour or 10 minutes.
I think it depends on which one. Minutes. An hour and you said an hour and 10 minutes?
It is. I don't know. What level did I cast it at?
Basically one level above.
One hour.
It lasts for 1 hour? Okay. You guys, you all...
I gotta see something real quick.
What was that?
Okay, so... Mechanicus gets up, and he's, like, stumbling around, so if anybody's close to him, you'd kind of hear, like feet kind of shuffling through the rocks or the grass or whatever.
All right.
And he looks down at his hands. Why can't I see myself? What's just all these people? What is going on? Oh no. And he like starts spazzing out and like freaking out. Old man style.
Actually, everyone go ahead and roll a perception check.
Run to me! Why is this happening?
Wow.
Man, the dice decided.
I don't know anything that's going on with you. I rolled an 8.
An 8? You guys are... You know what? I guess get rid of your fucking bad rolls.
Yeah.
Everyone's been rolling like single digits. It's ridiculous.
Sorry, old man.
They're walking away. Mechanicus is having a mental breakdown.
I mean, if... You know what? Go ahead. You know what, Mechanicus?
I must be dead. They can't hear me.
I mean, Mechanicus, for a sanity check, go ahead and roll your choice between I'd say a wisdom check, a save, or a charisma. Wisdom. Yeah, you don't know. Like you've
That was
gone far beyond. As
Hi.
there's a moment.
What did you? Can you not hear me? I'm a ghost. I'm a ghost.
There's a moment while the whole group is marching. Ines is not too far. Actually, Ines is kind of not trying to be ahead of you guys. If anything, he's really trying to walk with you, Theo, as he starts to talk. Well, I'm sure you have a great story as leaving your homeland, coming up north. Always wanted to travel the Shattered Seas. How was it this time of the season?
Horrible.
I mean, I've always known it to be more of the tropical climate, which I must say I've never really experienced that myself. More of a northerner and tempered regions. And as he's talking at this point, Theo and everybody else, you start hearing Mechanicus start yelling. As you see
Why must I be tormented?
you see the group behind you, and you start looking, and you hear Mechanicus. You know his voice. Everyone knows Mechanicus' voice, as he's nowhere to be seen. You already know what's going on. You know that he's invisible, just like you. There's a moment where Roland steps in, and you hear him say, mimicking that of Mechanicus. Where are we? What's going on? I'm losing myself. And he's covering his mouth as he's saying that. And he's trying to walk closer to the source of where he hears Mechanicus. There's a moment where Ines just gets taken back. Just really confused with the situation, as there's loud yelling, and seems to be that he's looking upon where the source might be coming from. I'm assuming the road wasn't that forgiving. As he talks to you, Theo, as he says that.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, that's a relief. He's here.
Forgive my transgressions. Please let me pass on.
It's okay.
As you're saying that, Mechanicus, anybody that notices Roland, he's just going along, like moving himself, like making it seem like he's like yelling while holding like his hand over his mouth, trying to continue walking.
If it is my sins, my lustful thoughts, please forgive me for the thoughts of the handmaiden.
Oh,
What are the rest of you trying to do as you do hear Mechanicus? It's just losing his shit nowhere to be seen.
I'm trying to find him, like trying to see if he's like dust or something.
Go ahead and roll.
I'm just trying to find him.
Go ahead and roll a perception check. As you're just trying to figure out, pinpoint where he can possibly be.
Yeah, you hear like stomping.
A dirty
of feet.
20.
It sounds like he's jumping
20.
up and down. I must release myself from these bonds.
It takes you a good 10, 15 seconds. I mean, he's quite loud, and Roland kind of around the same area where you would imagine that he's hearing Mechanicus. As you trail, and the more Mechanicus goes on and on, you're there reaching out like a blind person, trying to perhaps grab onto someone. As for a quick second, you feel the solid form of Mechanicus.
I've got a question.
Yo,
Whenever you're invisible, everything you have on you disappears. But if you drop something, does it reappear?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, so as you grab my Ganicus, you realize its bare skin is all of a sudden a robe appears on the ground in front of you.
A robe?
I must free myself from these earthly bonds that are holding me back. Take me with you, my God! Take me with you!
As the
Uh,
robes drop, I'm still going to grab onto hopefully his arm
You
or his
feel
shoulder.
you feel his bare back as you walk
Oh,
towards him.
no.
You can feel his hairy bare back as you can Mechanicus at this point you can feel cold hands grasp, like not grasping but like just slightly touch your back.
I can feel your presence. I can feel the presence of the gods. Oh, slightly caressing my back. Oh, wait. Just
No, no,
is that?
no.
It feels
no.
quite nice. Is that the handmaiden?
I'm
What
gonna
do you do,
quickly pick up
what do
his
you do,
robe.
May? If just you know where he's at this point, and he's going nuts, ballistic. He's getting a lot of attention. Roland, you can see at this point he's trying his best to try to take away from the fact that there is someone invisible.
I want to try to knock him out. Just
You
to
gonna knock
kind
out?
of. Yeah, I'm gonna try to knock
Okay.
him out.
Go ahead and roll an attack with disadvantage.
Oh yeah, let's just see. 11.
Does an 11 hit you, Mechanicus?
Yes.
As you there, you can feel his back, his you feel like a mole that your hand kind of goes over for a quick second, and you just figure exactly where you are, where he is, as your invisible hands. It's hard to see. Boom! As you hit him in the back of the neck, or the back of the head, or as you can feel the back of Mechanicus at this point, as you hit him with 6 bludgeoning damage. Mechanicus, go ahead and roll a concentration check as you feel a bludgeoning attack hit the back of you.
Oh no.
That con?
As you hit him in the back, you could see your hand appear, and before you, standing a nude Mechanicus, as everybody around, luckily in the back of the marching order, as Ines is up ahead and kind of paying no mind now to what do you imagine was Roland, just kind of going on and on as he's there talking to Theo. Everyone sees the naked form of Mechanicus as he begins or continues to shout after you clock him for a brief second. Mechanicus, you could see yourself at this point as your view, what your thoughts of being invisible really drove you in this maddened state, but now you can see your hands and the rest of your form.
Mechanicus being punched in the head now looks around confused. What is he looking at? Whoa! Where did my clothes go? What are you doing now? Why have you disrobed me?
They're like sitting at the foot, like
I demand an explanation at once! Why have you removed my robes?
I quickly run and grab his robe and just kind of hand it to him, like covering him.
I'm mad that I didn't knock him out. I just wanted him to be quiet.
And I'm like whispering, I'm like, get yourself together. Here.
Did you have my robes, Theo?
I did not have your robe.
You were the last one I would have got my eye on.
I'm making sure that we don't give a bad impression, but I think it's a little too late for that.
No, I'm a member of the guild. We garner respect regardless of where we are or who we are speaking to.
Mechanicus, get your robes on. Let's go. We have an escort. Can we go?
May, is that you?
I'm visible now.
She's visible now.
Oh, she's visible now.
Because that was part of the same spell. But you see May and
right, I was wondering why she was, yeah.
Yeah. They both just like, since you were kind of busy, you kind of kept going as Ines, Lieutenant Ines was talking, conversing with you, and asking you about the travels. You didn't notice when they popped back in until Mechanicus got loud again, and you look back and you did see he was nude. What are the rest of you guys doing? Well, I should say, Hellscream. I know you're kind of you're probably like taking the tail end of the march at this point.
Yeah, I was just sitting down throughout that whole shit, basically waiting for the old man to just go through his episode.
Gotcha.
I turn around and go back to Lieutenant Ines. So this is the rest of our group. It seems that there must have been some kind of magical disturbance of some kind, and well, the old man there, he's quite powerful, but suffers from emotional and mental, historical issues of some kind. You must understand.
Are you insinuating that that older gentleman is one with power?
Yes, knowledge, power of knowledge. He's very smart.
Go ahead and roll a deception check.
Oh, that's funny.
Crit fail, baby.
That's a crit fail.
Oh, that's worse than a crit fail. That's a 0, buddy.
Oh, he has a negative.
Yeah.
One.
I have a -1.
You just killed me.
You do see a change in tone from Ines, and after your deceitful attempt, he begins to keep walking in the same direction you guys were already heading towards that southern path.
I forgot the context. Damn it.
Yeah, magic is completely normal around here. Yeah.
The Thessians are the ones that are right. The king is like anti-magic.
You've been long enough in Lothesi to know that Lothesi is one of the states that are. I mean, you already saw what happened in Venir. You already know.
Right, but I didn't connect it. So the hand of
right.
What's the?
You know what? And you know what? That's a fib on your end as a player. Instead of your character would know that. I would say go ahead and roll with advantage. Go ahead and roll again, because Theo would know that, and Miguel just forgot.
It's probably not gonna matter because I have a -1. Right? Oh man!
I'm gonna say, you know what? Because purposes of Theo and the situation, I'm gonna say you already knew to refrain from even mentioning that. I'm just for the sake of that. I'm gonna retcon
because I just ruined like the whole campaign.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah,
I was getting ready to roll a new character. Yeah, real quick.
Right? I would say Theo, you would have known that.
No retcon.
No retcon.
No retcon.
Then go ahead and roll another.
Keeping it.
Then go ahead and roll another deception check.
It already happened. We don't change shit.
If it would have been with advantage at least, if he would have fibbed as Theo.
I think it's not gonna matter, but we'll do it.
Let's find out.
15.
Yeah, he glances for a quick second. Well, are you? I'm assuming he's part of the guild as well. Then I know most of my tutors had come from the guild. Father always tried to get me, give me many incentives to follow through, but I'm more of a man of action, militant than that of knowledge. Can't consider myself among the one of power of knowledge.
Yes, and he's very smart. He to avoid the battle that we were ensued, and I was worried for a minute that we had lost him, but he turned up, so we're happy for him.
So
He does provide a great source of wisdom for us.
some of you seem to be pretty close. I've imagine some of you have probably been together for quite some time.
You could say that. This well, is May behind? Like, has May moved up, or she's staying with like?
Good question.
I'm kind of staying close to my Canicus since he had that episode.
Okay.
I don't know how far up you are
Yeah, I
ahead
kind of went
of
back
me.
to him, like after before the
Yeah, like
habit.
my Canicus is like walking close to May, and he's like, "Why did Theo disrobe me and steal my clothes?"
My Canicus, you went through one of your episodes. You thought you were dead, and you dropped your robes when I touched your shoulder. He was just helping you put your robes back on.
Idea you were having one of your fantasies, and you believed that I would instantly disrobe from you, touching my shoulder.
You thought you were dead. You casted a spell and you almost killed me with it. You turned us invisible.
You know not what you speak of.
Okay.
Just be quiet. Just close your mouth. Just be
Fine,
quiet.
fine.
Yes, we've been through a lot together. We've lost comrades, and we've gained some, but we are here now.
You speak as a former militant. Were you in the service?
Can I do an insight check to see if is like confrontational or like kind of a challenge? You know,
You want to see like
like
the intent behind the question?
yeah, what's the intent behind his question?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll insight for that.
Normal, right? Let me see.
Yeah, you can go ahead and just roll normal.
11.
An 11. Um, it seems genuine. Like a genuine question. Coming from a militant person himself. It doesn't seem like he has a hidden agenda by that question. If that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I served myself in the Azaria army.
Oh, Republic of the Crown, huh?
That's right, the very one. Have you heard of Azari and its wondrous technological advances?
I've definitely heard much of it, and I can't say I studied much, but under the tutelage of the guild tutors, I've learned a fair common amount. I mean, you do practice that of the arcanic arts, and from what I understand, that's what part of what drives the innovation that your society breaks through as well. I've always wanted to visit. Seems fascinating to witness inventions and innovations definitely beyond our capabilities as a nation. I mean, ever since the discovery of the engine and steam powered, there there has been some improvements in our end, and I would say as a nation of Lothesi, probably not too far off, right?
It just seems how your nations decide to pursue that magic.
Magic is it's a complicated subject. There are those that think ill of it, and those are not opposed. It is a sensitive subject here.
What is your personal opinion? If you don't mind me asking.
Well, it's hard to take in as can't consider myself one to be so knowledgeable about the arts of the witchcraft, I would say. But I think just as everything else, there are those that want to develop a certain perception towards certain individuals. I personally don't mind what the majority say, because I myself never really met anyone that has the abilities as such, so it's hard for me to make an assumption in my mind towards it. From what we've heard from the clergy and from certain electoral individuals, it seems to be that of an evil intent, I would want to say, but I don't know, perhaps it's just a different form of knowledge.
Well, that's a very healthy way of looking at it.
Father never really thought of it that way, but I don't know, I figured it's kind of old-fashioned. You have to think ahead.
It's always good to be open-minded and to learn things for yourself.
I mean,
until you...
Yeah, I would imagine you've come from a society that thrived with, innovation with its magical arts. I would only assume if you've existed this long, it's probably not as what is made to be seen.
There's definitely a duality in magic. It's just who garners it, than being evil or being good.
I wonder, what brought you to the state, coming from your homeland? I always fancied the ideal and thought of one who would leave their homeland. Is it something you seek, or perhaps something you running away from?
It's a little bit of both. pretty complicated. I seek. Well, I'm running away from, I guess, shame, but I do seek to have my own version of justice or vengeance. But don't we all?
Well, it's kind of hard for me to grasp since, well, not sure if you know most of our customs and the way family is. The way family has to push forward and keep the same ideals and traditions.
Oh, I know all about having family traditions and pursuing the family lineage and responsibilities that comes with it and the burden. But family is a complicated thing for me. You see, I've been betrayed by my very own family, and it's part of the reason why I'm here.
A betrayal.
Yeah.
Now it's getting kind of spicy.
If you want any more information, you're gonna have to get me some drinks to get it out of me. Probably for your own protection. Who knows?
I would, but we are keepers of this region, and I am on duty.
I understand.
This is going to be the remainder, unfortunately for me, for the next couple of months, as they take me away from the front line. This ongoing blasted war. The would only imagine how complicated it would seem on your end. I mean, sure, you've probably seen battle yourself, but an ongoing war that's probably lasted more than a couple of generations of your fathers. I think it becomes kind of redundant if you think about it in the long run.
Just know for yourself what you're truly fighting for. Sometimes these wars aren't too. Life's too short to be wasting on ideals.
As you begin to converse with them, you guys continue on south. Even though it's morning, as you did see a small peak of sunlight early on, the clouds at this point become a gloomy overcast as the darkened shade of the clouds begin to get ever so close. The rest of you, anything
As we're
you want to add?
walking, May, you notice Mechanicus is kind of like looking around. He's looking for something like between all of the people and all of the traveling people. Then he looks to May. May, have you seen Julian or Meliodas? I've not seen them among us.
They're gone, Mechanicus. We lost Meliodas first at the cave-in, and you were there when Julian died. She's gone. We lost both of them.
You see him pause for a second. Like he kind of like stares at you, but stares through you like he's trying to process it.
You had her instrument. You grabbed her pack. Don't you remember?
Yes, of course I do. I was making sure that you remembered.
Then he like picks up the pace.
And I'm gonna just kind of give him his space. But I'll still follow right behind him.
You just kind of hear him mumbling to himself. Like nothing in particular, but just, you just see he's kind of talking to himself.
To continue on, gets to perhaps maybe a good hour and a half into travel as you begin to notice well into the march how the ravine that you begin to entrench forward begins to scale even higher as the cliffs that you remembered as closing in close, traveling closer from Vanier that you had traveled previously on, as the river still meets towards the western side, and the cliffs begin to grow ever so higher as you begin to begin to go deeper into this cascading ravine, in this canyon, essentially. For a moment, what the overcast gradually becomes a darkened, violent colors of different purplish hues, as you can see parts of the sunlight that's probably coming from from a certain angle, casting certain different lighting, basically just giving you different hues of coloration that the clouds are projecting. You come upon an area where is noticeably fenced off and met with a tower coming from a good distance or so. Those that traveled earlier, traveled previously, remembered something similar to the likes of a post that you had traveled, had crossed through before, which was basically like a checkpoint. This one is much more that of a large camp, as you can see different sections. In other words, fortified in different areas for the camp itself. There are two towers that you could see that sits probably a good 60 feet up. As you can see, it's just a crude wooden shack of like a tower that looked like it was built on the fly for this area. There are areas that looks like it's fenced off with a good 10 to 12 foot wall of just large trunks, basically just dug in, entrenched around. Beyond that, you could see on the cliff that the camp sits next to, you could see that there are works of different areas with pulley systems and staircases that goes in different tiers. And the cliff that they're building upon, it looks like there's different pockets of actual alcoves. Some of them you can see immediately. Some are without without perspective and view. you can see a couple of individuals working around. Those with wearing like half uniforms. As you can tell, like some of them are probably working on different aspects with the pulley systems. Some supplies are being brought up to other tiers within this cliff face, and in that moment, as you begin to approach even closer, you could see the rolling clouds at this point begin to light up above you. As you can see that just a small striations of lightning peeking out. This is a camp for tonight. If you guys don't mind, there is gonna be it's gonna be quite cramped, as we don't have much room for everyone. We've been seeking shelter within the cliffs itself, and there are different areas where we can actually post a rest for perhaps through the storm. Hopefully, given the storm doesn't last throughout the evening. You could see Ines right now as he calls out for Sergeant. Where is it? His name here somewhere. As he says, "Last Sergeant Tonkin." As you see the older guy that previously had spoken to him, wearing like a chevron. You can see he's pretty much outranking the other members within the platoon that they were in. As he approaches him with waiting for directions and attention. "Yes, sir. Be sure that the men accommodate the rest of the party for staging for a place of rest. Immediately, sir." As he goes at attention one more time, as he begins to direct the rest of the platoon, as the majority of them begin to herd the rest of you guys into the camp. As you guys approach the front gate, as you pass the first tower, you can see that there is at least two individuals holding what looks like longer rifles than those of the other soldiers, as what they're carrying. Theo, you immediately see that these are definitely meant for good distance shots, more of those for scouting purposes, instead of more of the frontliners. the entrance, you're met with at least three individuals, those in full uniform with their weapons at the ready. One of them begins to greet the party. "Welcome, sir. Imagine you found a couple of stragglers on the way. Assuming any resistance." As you see you see Lieutenant Ines walks through. "Well, the usual. We found at least one, but looks like these individuals probably had run into at least one. We'll begin debrief perhaps like in another 10 or so." "Roger that." As the other one allows the rest of you guys to come in, you guys continue to be led inside, and you can see inside many tents that are already posted around the bottom section within the walls itself. As some of them, you can tell they're already breaking down their tents for the incoming storm that's going to come through. As you can see them kind of in a rush, as there begin to light trickles coming down, as you can feel the cold the cold drops coming down. The difference from just the slight humidity, as you're led towards the back and led to a staircase going up into the cliff face. One by one, you see each individual of the soldiers individually herd a couple of groups here and there. I'm assuming most of you try to cramp together, as just to keep like with your immediate group together.
Yeah.
The for a quick second, you can see that there's not many like fully covered areas. There are areas. Zutai, there are areas where you can see that there is some work put in, as they might have, if not to be known if it was natural, or maybe they had probably cut into the cliff face to make more room and accommodate like this camp here. But one by one, you begin to get led through certain alcoves as you reach probably like the third level going up, and in the tiers of the staircases that they pretty much have built in, the crude staircases that they built. As you find your areas where you're going to be utilizing for your quarters, what do you have planned for the night?
I'm gonna try to meditate.
All right. I'm assuming you probably just get yourself your cot, or I'm sorry, your bedroll ready. The rest of you guys as well. It isn't evening. It is probably at this point early afternoon, but the fact that you know that there is a storm, particularly a void storm coming, they're insisting on the shelter inn because of just the possibility of how violent the storm could be. They're really not, it's always a hit or miss, not knowing how bad the storms could be due to knowing that there is the Cauldron Mountains that exist towards the east. Hellscream, you know the Cauldron Mountains, which cascades around your homeland. But those mountainous regions do tend to weaken and thwart the storm sometimes. Whereas the storm would arrive and it would be just a normal overcast of a shower, like basically just a minute thunderstorm, if anything else.
So that means I'm near home.
No, you just know that from your experience, you know that since it goes the void storm itself comes from the east, and a lot of times before it hit Lothesi, it is broken apart because of the mountains that you live in. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah, but as far as the whole camping situation goes, he gets ready for a nap.
All right. Like I said, it's not particularly the evening. It's really more like early afternoon. Those like would probably be polite enough to ask. You probably find out it's probably like around 2:00 in the afternoon, if anything else. Those lucky enough to probably to have a watch on them.
Would I be able to get hit dice back from meditating? Or not get back, to use hit dice?
I would say meditating could be used as a short rest for sure.
Okay.
Wait. No. I'm sorry. You can
not to get it back.
Die.
Yeah, I want to
use a hit die. That's
die.
what you want. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
To get it back, remember, it's either a long rest to get half back, or if you have a meal, you can get a hit die recovered.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, so May, you're gonna be meditating. You
I'm-
said the rest of you
yeah.
guys. I know Hellscream. You're just preparing to take. You're just gonna take a nap. But essentially, it's gonna be like a short rest for you.
Uh, I'm going. Theo's actually going to find a corner or see if there's like a elevated crate or something, and he's going to take out his gunpowder barrel and start putting together some bullets.
Okay, so you're gonna start crafting your rounds for your what's it called again? Your
GX, my GX2.
GX. Yeah, yeah. Um, go ahead. This is a short rest, so it's gonna be. I don't remember the rules. Go ahead and roll a tinkering check. Tinker's kit. It's called kit. I can't remember. Yeah, Tinker's kit, right?
Yeah,
And yeah, just let me know what you roll.
I got 22.
22. You managed to. You know what? Go ahead and roll a. Go ahead and roll a D10 plus your intelligence.
So I guess D10 plus 1.
You know what? Make it your. I'm sorry. Make it your proficiency.
Okay, 2.
Okay. So
Oh wait, hold on. I did 2 D10. Sorry.
what did you roll the first time for your? If you rolled, you just use one of those. Whatever you.
I used the 10. The first one was a 10.
Oh, it was a natural 10. Oh yeah. So that's case you return. You get to create 12 rounds with this short rest. And that's going to take you a good, I'd say a good hour and a half, almost 2 hours, while you're in crafting mode at this point.
Cool.
The rest of you,
I'm now
can I
just waiting
expend-
out the storm.
Can I expend a hit die too? Or is that it's one or the other kind of thing?
I for that for short rest and tinkering, it's going to be one or the other, because you're actively
Okay,
you're actively busy enough for
Working,
you to
right,
kind of like
yep.
to get yourself a rest. If you were
No
to
problem.
do it during a long rest, I would that'll be different. Because you can incorporate that during your long rest. But for the short rest, it's kind of like that or the other, because it's going to take some time for you to even do that, and it wouldn't really give you that rest you're looking for. I'm sorry. What the rest of you guys do, Mechanicus and Hellscream? Hellscream, you said you're just going to be plopping. I'm sorry, not Mechanicus. Hellscream, right?
See, I be plopping.
All right. So for the next hour or so, you're just taking a nap. You see, you place Voxy right next to you. Are you actively trying to hide Voxy, or are you just kind of putting her out in the open?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that earlier. Like, I wanted to take like one of my rags and like cloak it on the back, almost like an extended backpack or something like that,
A rag?
or like I don't know what was it. I know one of the kits has it.
I mean, I'm sure you have like clothing, like traveler's clothing, extra stuff like that. I mean, if you're, yeah, just check your inventory, see what you can use. If you want to try to, I would say, depending on what you use, we can try to, fabricate something on the go. As you can see, not too far from you, Theo, working on his craft. And Mechanicus, in the meantime, while Hellscream, you figured that out. Mechanicus, you were doing what?
Mechanicus is just find somewhere to sit, kind of away from everybody, and he's staring at everybody with this confused look on his face.
You said you're just gonna hang out. I didn't get the last part. You said you're gonna sit down and
Yeah, he's just hanging out, watching everybody,
All right.
but he kind of looks confused.
Oh, you're just you're confused with the. You know what? Go ahead and roll because it's been a good couple of hours. Go ahead and roll another wisdom save. Yeah, you're still kind of confused, especially with the whole like with certain your spotty events. Like you still don't remember the events of what had happened to Jillian. You know, even though May did kind of explain what was the situation, but there are spotty memories of certain things, and you're still kind of taken aback by what's happening. You do see these militant individuals. You know what they are, who they are. You know who this Lord. Lord. He is a lord, but being that he is the only princedom, but he is an officer, so you do know him. You know as the lieutenant himself. You're there is some confusion of how you even ended up in this situation.
Okay, yeah, he's just sitting there trying to figure that out.
All right. And you're just gonna kind of hang out, nothing else beyond that.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Hellscream, you find anything?
The Umbra carapace. I'm gonna use it as like a shell.
Okay. So the carapace itself, because you got one good chunk. And it's good for like a plate, like putting it for like or hoping to have a designed plate armor. It's like a little bit in diameter. It's a little bit bigger than like a basketball. It's not like a giant like shield, if that's what you're trying to like hide her behind or anything like that.
I'm just
It's
trying
like,
to hide whatever, like if something's like poking out.
okay, poking out in the sense of like where she's being carried in.
Yes.
Okay, so you put her down like a backpack essentially, right? You didn't like take her out or anything.
I didn't take her out. No.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll a. I'm gonna say. What the fuck? What's probably the best thing for that? Let's see. I'm gonna say go ahead and roll a.
Stealth?
Not necessarily. I'm gonna say go ahead and roll just a regular dexterity check as you're trying to figure out how to try to disguise her a certain way. It's either that or the charisma.
A sleight of hand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said like just a regular dex check.
11.
11. I mean, yeah. I mean, sometimes like as you put it on, like sometimes it just kind of flops over, and as you keep fixing it, but if you feel like it's probably the best you can do with that object at least. There's a quick moment where Voxy just kind of looks at you, really confused, as you're just trying to finagle, perhaps like not disguise her, but kind of blend her in with just objects in general. As she with a small gesture, you see her raise her only hand as a vine begins to protrude from her fingers, and she creates what looks like a small little flower as she reaches out for you to grab. Oh, we lost someone.
What do you think?
Oh shit, yeah.
Sweet. Well, I'll definitely take the flower, but that's not good.
Boy, I have to figure that out some other time. Okay, so oh, my shit's messed up. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about the overlay. And May, so you begin to you after preparing just the area where you're gonna be staying in for the next couple of hours at least, as as you sit down, close your eyes, and begin to empty your mind for the meditation. We're gonna go take a break.
Cool.
Sounds good.
So, May, go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll wisdom. Wisdom save.
Save. Ooh.
You know what? I was gonna say with advantage. So just roll roll with advantage.
It would be a 20. Dirty 20.
All right. You sit down for for your moment as you close your eyes. Just like you were taught. Instinctually, you already know what to do without even a thought. So you were in practice many times. Though still trying to figure out exactly what you were looking for and what you're trying to achieve physically. You're not sure. I mean, you understand spiritually and what you were trained and taught, but you never reached this stage that the masters before you spoken of and hope in one day you would achieve as well. As you meditate and close your eyes and begin to clear your mind and absorb your surroundings. For a quick moment, you begin to feel yourself in a state of euphoria. You close your eyes. Oh, after you close your eyes, you get rid of all the thoughts. You begin to sense yourself in your surroundings, actually, almost like a outer body experience. But then you go into the state where it almost seems familiar, similar to that of your dreams, actually. You see yourself what feels like maybe 30 minutes into your meditation. And then you find something, almost something that puts you in tune with yourself and your conscience. And you begin to reach a state of reverie. You begin to feel melded, as if you're fusing yourself with not just your surroundings, but spiritually. Just honing into it. As your senses begin to fade. But before you take notice, there's a sudden flash of bright colors that begin to shift. Very much like I said, this kaleidoscope of memories going through once again.
Hold on. What? Hey, I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
No worries. We can pause.
Sorry.
The rest of you guys, as you going about your business, you do hear a couple of the soldiers talk amongst them. not necessarily super obvious, but you could see that one of them starts to mention the battlefields that were laid before them in the past. One of them, the one that speaks of the past battles, indicates on certain strategies that they might have to reconsider. As you can see that one of them is holding a map. Theo, being that you are one in tune with cartography, you do notice that it's a regional map of primarily focusing on Lothesi, but it's kind of hard to see the rest of it as they're kind of just talking amongst it. Go ahead and roll a perception check as you do talk, see them talking to each other. Hellscream, you're pretty much napping at this point, right?
Crit 25.
No,
Wow.
no need for me to roll. Yeah, there we go. I'm sleeping.
For you get a good glance, even though you are in this busy state. You do notice that the map that they hold is one detailed map of at least Lothesi and partial Zigoria as well. You can tell that these are this document is used for battle plans, particularly more that of certain regions that doesn't exist in normal mappings. It's quite beautiful as far as crafted, and whoever had taken the time to create the map. It's not in the sense of like for artistic purposes as what you were doing. There is more of a cut through, straight to the point information needed for like the map itself. It's really more. It really try to gain knowledge for accuracy as opposed to like an artistic approach.
Are there any kind of like battle like or strategic plans detailed on the map in terms of, you know, maybe the tactics for the army this particular group is doing?
From the a 25 perception, there is, you could see that there are certain markings.
Like, you know how sometimes they have arrows and they show
right.
like
You
the
can see that
movement.
right, and you're granted you are not per se very close enough to get like good details on it, but you could see that there are markings, and you can see that there are regions of like perhaps certain elements of strategic points that they, you know, that they annotated on the map itself. For, you know, for lack of you know, of your knowledge, you do know that this map is definitely used more for the strategic and battle elements use.
Do I see the soldiers talking about it, or are they like talking about something else at the moment?
They're continually talking about like I said, strategic points in perhaps like their last tour in the northern region, close to the border of Zagoria up north.
Okay, I walk up. I'm just kind of like being innocuous about it, and I'm like, so what's the next? You guys planning excursion?
Between the two of them, you can see this one a weathered-looking individual, that of the rank of what you'd say, like a lower end of a like a sergeant, and the other one, um, uh, along the lines of just like a one rank above. um, you could see an instant change in holy
Demeanor.
crap, losing words.
Demeanor.
Yeah, that's probably the best word right there. Right away when you came over, there was a sense of trying to avoid showing you more than you should know. And you would know this due to like um classification purposes of trying to avoid like having information put out
Sure.
to those that shouldn't have knowledge, more so need to know information.
Basis. Right. Right.
He puts like the one that was holding the map, you could see he starts to fold it and put back. Yeah, you could say that. There is regions that we plan to visit, I guess. Right? As he bumps into the other one like with his elbow. Oh yeah. What is it to you?
I'm just curious. I have some military background myself, so I'm wondering if you might need any service, mercenary services.
You hear this guy? He comes here, talks about he's in a military that I probably don't even know the name of. Look it. You might want to try to keep your nose out of, otherworldly information and business. We don't know where you came from or, perhaps who you're working with.
That's fair. I'm just offering services if needed.
Well,
If you're short
we
on
asked
men,
for. Go ahead.
it's just, if you're short on men, then myself and you see that big guy. I don't know if he's Hellscream's in view.
Snoring with his mask, he just slightly tilted.
Yeah, yeah. That guy. If we have some muscle, you might provide. And I show him my weapon.
Yeah, there's immediate curiosity. Huh. Where'd you get that piece of armor?
I've developed it myself.
It's far from the revolver. It's quite large. How many shots you can get off of that? What's a two-piece?
It's two shots. Pack quite a wallop.
What can you do with just two shots? You have to reload every two? No, mate. I'm gonna introduce you to my little six here, as he pulls his little revolver. Just kind of same size as basically what you had managed to get your hands on. Same thing. You could see that he's like pulling six shots. Now I'll tell you that much, that 6 definitely will beat 2, and if you run out of, after the second shot, and your target ain't down, at least I have 4 more to go.
Most of the time, I only need 1. I gotta raise my eyebrow.
This guy talking all this nonsense. Yeah, what does he know? They just
Perhaps
start
maybe
kind of turning their back towards you as they begin to just talk amongst each other.
Perhaps a shooting challenge?
You hear that, Rick? He wants to challenge you. Well, what are you gonna put on the line for the challenge?
How's 10 gold?
Let's put the stakes up a little higher, shall we? Let's make it 30.
You're on.
As you guys begin to prepare for your challenge, go back to May as you are deep within a meditative state. As going back, as you senses begin to fade before you, you take notice as a sudden flash of bright colors begin to shift. Very much like that of the kaleidoscope of memories that you had in your dreams. Flashes of bright blues shift to brilliant blue, then to green, then to yellow, then to orange, as it just fades into different colors. Like you feel yourself being pulled through it, like being projected through a tunnel of light. You begin to hear whispers, that sound of that all too familiar from your dreams. Actually, it's like crescendos quickly into a ear-shattering boom as it stops. Begins quiet. In front of you, there's a blinding light as you can't really see what's going on beyond that, but it slowly fades. Begin to feel your feet touch what solid surface underneath. As your eyes begin to adjust, what first catches your attention is how bright the sky is. Actually, it's not normal. It's like gazing up gives you kind of immediate discomfort. But as you do so, it's impossible to tell what direction the sun is coming from. It seems as if it were a light source from all over in the sky. Not as violent and bright as the sun would be, but the whole sky is lit up. As your eyes begin to keep adjusting, surrounding you, you see what looks like a lush forest, but completely washed out by the intense brightness. What do? As you move around, you can see all forms of plant life and what looks like trees surrounding you from a distance. Can't really see the horizon.
I'm just gonna walk further into the forest.
Okay. You begin to push forward. As you walk, you get an unnatural sense around you, as if you're there, but not really. Like you're walking in a lucid dream. You reach your hands out, feel tall brush of flora as you pass by it. It gives you like a sense of this sensation of like a tickling sensation, but at the same time kind of like numbing. It's almost like if you have the pins and needles but without having pins and needles.
Do I recognize this place? Like, have I dreamt this kind of lucid dream before being into this forest? Or do I recognize this forest at all?
It's very alien-like. It's, I mean, the plant life is not what really is grabbing your attention. It's more along the lines of everything else around you. Um, there seems to be some sort of blurriness and shifting how everything moves. Almost like a painting, a detailed painting that just keeps shifting.
Okay.
And with this unnatural light, it really gives this intense brightness all around. You can't even see shadows. It's very odd in that nature. You keep pushing through as you continue to walk. You begin to hear a faint sound, kind of like actually like a violin almost. As you focus on the sound, you begin to make out a somber tune to it. What do you do?
I'm going to head towards the sound. Try to find the source.
So you continue on, occasionally pushing branches of overgrown bushes. You manage to get to what looks like a small clearing as the brightness of the skies begin to peek through once again. Still bright as your eyes have, still bright as your eyes getting like issues adjusting to it. You see a male figure facing off the distance, sitting with his legs crossed, playing a two-stringed bowed musical instrument. He's wearing a set of light gray tunic and trousers as well, but in his midsection a brilliant blue sash made out of silk. His head, you can see, adorned with like the same brilliant blue colors, but in forms of ribbons. Each are fixed on multiple braids in his platinum hair, which falls back about all the way back to like mid back, as you can see. You see pointy ears poking from his hair. Display of what looks like a few rings and a long brown white feather. Brown and white feather. In front of you is the elf you know as Master Aishan. As he continues to play a somber sound coming from this two-string violin, one that you're quite familiar with. You have arrived. Expected you to interrupt. My apologies for the lament. The sound of music resonates much different here, like a lost mammal underwater, calling for her pod. I did wonder the length of time it'd take for me to meet you here. She smiles, looks over at you.
What is going on, Master Rayshawn? You called me here? Why?
Oh no, you're wrong. You finally managed to make your way here.
I did?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is this part of my training or something? I've been having these kind of dreams like this, but I just figured that it was normal.
Sit. He's kind of looking into the sky, the bright white sky, but he's looking into it intently.
I'm going to sit near him.
What you see before you is the fragment of the drift. Just a sliver of what we know as the spiritual realm. What you see before you is the lattice work of souls that intertwine. As you notice him nod his head towards the bright sky as he says that.
I'm going to look at the sky as well.
Just take a moment for the scenery to unfurl. Go ahead and roll. Go ahead and roll perception check.
A 3 crit fail.
He looks at you, smirk. I noticed the trouble that bothers you. You have yet to separate yourself from your physical habits. Do you think it is with your eyes that give you sight, or with your lungs that you breathe while you're here? It is your essence that brought you here, a projection of your physical form.
Still have a lot to learn. I take it is a little hard to get used to the idea.
There is quite an achievement that you have created that many cannot achieve themselves. You still have much to learn, like you say. In truth, you have kept me curious than all others. I am not surprised. You have managed to make yourself here much earlier than those that spend a lifetime trying to achieve. In truth, you are my most interesting student I've yet met during my practice. Do you think this is the first time that you have traveled through the spiritual realm?
Say safely? Yes, but are my dreams the spiritual realm that I've been getting almost every day or every evening?
Those are just memories from previous encounters. You do not remember when I first found you. You were in the ruins. Separated yourself from your mind. That closeness to how you separate your physical form and your spiritual form. But you were lost. I found you float in the drift. Floating with the spirits. But that in your physical representation. It was not that a soul I saw drifting through the latticework. but your spirit. Spirit that represents who you are. In truth, it is quite mysterious how you managed to do that at such a young age without practice. I've yet to cover all the truths behind such a feat. But there's so many more clues into perhaps in what you are and how you manage to achieve such things. Ever wonder how is it that you can understand a language that you've never heard of? One that was lost through the ages.
Was quite curious, but I don't really know how to explain it. I just figured maybe I had learned it before I lost everything else that I could remember of myself.
In truth, there is many questions that will be left unanswered. In truth, just like life is set up in terms of never uncovering the things you seek. True knowledge is only those of the beholder to be truth. Ever wondered perhaps where your family lineage can perhaps come from? It is within that lies the truth, and perhaps if you do seek out those that are closest to you, you will find the answers that you are most looking for. There is a sense that perhaps I do believe that you have a legacy in your blood. Well, it's a good thing that you come to visit. You see him get up for a quick moment, and he stretches. Though we are not in the physical realm, does not mean that it's never too late to train. Up on your feet. Show me. What is it that you have learned while your travels? As you see him bring his hand out towards you in his fighting stance.
I get ready to get into my stance.
There are many things that you would uncover. Perhaps not today. Maybe with a few knocks to the head might readjust. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's true.
Go to roll initiative real quick.
Oh boy. Do you have a token that I can click on?
Just roll it. Just
Okay.
roll the initiative, and we could just use the number, whatever number you
15.
With the quickness, as soon as he mentions that, you see him quickly move in for an attack. As you took a good moment for reaction, as you see his hand coming towards towards your side for like a side shot, but you were quickly enough to deflect, and you're actually ahead of the initiative. Go ahead and make an attack as you see him line up for another attack right after.
25 and a 7. Crit fail 7.
Okay. As you try to retaliate, the first attack, swing as you swing over. You're doing this with a unarmed, or everything's unarmed. Okay.
Yeah, everything's unarmed.
As you hit him towards the side of his chest as he rolls back, and with the following attack, you see him deflect as he jumps over like a Superman punch, coming down with 2 attacks. Bah, bah. While he's in mid-flight. The first one is going to hit for a 16, and the second one is going to be an 11.
16 hits.
As you take, what is that? 6 plus. As you take 10 damage on the first strike. As he realigns himself, with a quick sidestep, you see him post back a good 5-10 feet from his original position, giving you the opportunity to kind of strike him at an open position. Go ahead and roll for an attack, for an op attack.
An 8.
As soon as you try maneuvering and try to strike him, you see him almost like a blur in slow motion as you can see. You can see yourself moving at a really slow pace in this weird corporeal form, as you can see your hand in a weird blur motion as you try to make your strike. And as he maneuvers out of the way, you can get rid of your physical form, your physical habits. As he comes back with an elbow, with a quickness, coming straight right back into you. But it is your turn.
I'm going to pull out my whip chain, and
All right.
I'm going to, I don't know how I'm going to do this, try to reel him in with it into a grapple.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a grappling attack with dexterity.
Just a straight up dexterity?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
12.
A 12. He quickly just sidesteps out of the way into like a good flanking position, like behind you. As you try to react, go ahead and you got another attack, or are you just gonna stay on that one? Because the grappling is like a first attack.
I will do an unarmed strike. 15.
15 just misses right as you try to follow up with an unarmed. For a quick second, you feel like the strike is about to hit true as he just slowly just deflects away, coming up with just like an uppercut underneath your arm for strike. That's gonna be a natural 18. Follow up with a quick, sharp elbow towards you. And that's gonna be a natural 16. That's gonna be like 20 something. I'm sure it hits you, right?
I'm down. Yeah.
As soon as he hits you with that elbow, you feel your corporeal form like get knocked back like 10 feet, like as your feet slide behind, like on the grass. As you can see, as your feet just grind against this weird corporeal form grass, you can see as your feet scrapes against it, there's like this light that comes out of it, and as it fades away, coming back to what looks like grass again. As after he hits you, he rushes forward. Keep thinking with your spirit instead of your physical form. As he rushes back for another attack. As he closes the distance, it's your go again.
I'm just gonna... Oh wait, no. That was supposed to be 2. It was a crit fail whip chain and then an unarmed strike for 19.
So as soon as you throw with the whip chain, it lashes like against his side as he tries to maneuver, but it just kind of like a glancing blow as it strikes him. And following up with your attack as you strike true as well. And as he does so, he stops for a quick moment, giving you like a heads up gesture. Looks like you are finally figuring it out. Well, I can't try to keep you here for the rest of the time while I play my sad lament. But until we meet again. As
Till we meet again.
just quick moment, he bows, a short bow towards you as he grabs his violin, and you see him walk away as his form becomes transparent, and into the forest it just disappears. As you sit there and you look around, you begin to hear much more than you heard before as you're putting into practice as was what Master Raishan had mentioned, as to leave your physical habits behind. And as you do so, you look up and gaze upon the bright sky. For a moment, you begin to see what looks like forms of light that are constantly moving, but not just one, there are many, just moving in what looks like a spider web of lines, of these glowing lines, as what feels like your eyes, what you imagine your eyes, adjust to what you're looking at, as your sight adjusts to the truth in what really is happening in this sliver of the drift that he had mentioned. For the first time ever, you understand a little bit of this drift that he had mentioned. As you stand there in awe and this beautiful sight of spiritual movement going across this lattice work across the sky. Theo, at this point, as you're posting, there looks like a couple of bottles that they placed at the end of a rock surface that looks like it's placed on just an area where multiple areas around just the cliff wall within the alcove you guys are in. Though it may be a little dark, as you can see flickering of torches kind of lighting the interior. There seems to be like a gaggle of like other soldiers kind of getting into the action. You can see some of them are making bets as far as like who's gonna end up getting the clear shot. But okay, let's see what you can do. First one that hits it after a good spin and a blindfold. The rules are, you look at your target, you make a spin, 3 spins that is, put a blindfold on, try to make your shot. Snow peeking.
Oh no, never.
As he begins to line himself up, you see him range up. You see he's trying to gather, like gauge the distance. As he closes his eyes for a quick second, spins a couple of times. As he gets that third spin, someone comes in and puts a blindfold on him, tightens it from behind. As he brings up his revolver, and he brings it up, and he fires. The first shot manages to go wide as you hear cracking, ricocheting sound coming off the wall. Actually, blasted, as you can hear, trying to gauge to see if he can hear the shattering of glass. He takes off he takes off the blindfold and kind of looks and trying to figure out where his shot went. Yeah, I bet you can't do better than that. I was like a good 2 feet off. Go ahead. Same thing for you as you place yourself in front. Everybody's looking intently at this point. Some of them are kind of like making you bets. You can see behind a couple of the other soldiers that kind of trying to join in. Hellscream, you definitely just woke up after that first shot.
What do you mean? I'm like hard to sleep, bro. That shit don't work like that. Nah, actually, he actually sees me like putting in like 2 or 3 gold, gambling around with the other guys.
Oh,
Can't help it.
yeah. You start throwing in. How much you throwing in?
2 gold on Theo.
2 gold on Theo. All right, and as every round continues, it antes up, like it builds the pot essentially, until one of them gets it essentially. All right, so you got 3 gold in. Go ahead, and Theo, as you sit there, as you begin your process, as you see one of the guys behind you, waiting to blindfold you. As you begin to make your spins, and as you post and stop, you feel him come right behind you. As he puts the blindfold up, ties it up behind you. Go ahead and make a shot with disadvantage.
Dang.
And you, as you bring up your GFX2, so hulking gun compared to like a revolver. The barrel itself is thicker in diameter than what a shotgun would be essentially. As you bring up, and this large flaming bolt protrudes out as you fire off. The smoke clears for a quick second. Everyone's kind of like anticipating, trying to figure out if you hit it or not, because that cloud of smoke just kind of obscured the area, and they couldn't really hear anything. The glass shatter from that loud bang that echoed inside this alcove. As the smoke clears, you just hear "whoa" as you fired your weapon, shattering the glass. But even behind it, there's like a smoldering, smoldering piece of lead stuck into the rock surface, just bright red hot. As you can see, just parts of the interior part of the cavern, the alcove wall, just chipped through. And anyone that pays attention, looks like it went in at least 4 to 5 inches into this hard surface. You can see this guy, the guy that you're competing with. Oh, that was lucky. What do you say? Double or nothing? What are you putting down?
Well, let's see. I just made 60, so I put in another 60.
you see him just kind of just turn white. You asked for that much, and he starts talking to like his soldier guy, like his other soldier buddies, and they're like trying to be really like against the fact that they putting in money that he's probably gonna lose. And you just see him arguing, "Come on, man, I'm good for it." As they like get really upset, trying to like put like more into the pot that they might lose. Hellscream, you did earn 3 from the 3 you already put in, so you got 3 back in return. As you see everybody else around, noticing that they're gonna go at it again, everyone else starts in commotion again as anteing up for the next bet. Hellscream, you gonna sit this one out?
I don't know. Yeah, I put down another 3 gold.
Another 3 gold. All right, you playing it safe.
You learn nothing. Watch, I'm gonna fail.
I know, right?
Watch you roll a 1 and a 3 this time around.
All right. So once again, Rick, the one that you've already conversed with earlier, as he loads up that one shot that he just expended, as you hear him spin the chambers as he cocks it back into the revolver. He looks over again, trying to gauge on this time on a different bottle that's placed there. As he begins to close his eyes, he begins to spin rapidly 3 times. As the guy behind him posts up, blindfolds him. He takes his shot once again. Shot goes wide. This time much further than before. As he takes it off. Blasted! Just cursing at his unfortunate shot. You see him just get really pissed off at that moment, as everybody anticipates like the next shot from you, Theo.
So I walk up and I let myself be spinned. And as soon as they're done spinning and they put the blindfold on, you just kind of, I think everyone kind of gets quiet.
Yeah, everyone's just anticipating quiet. No one's making sound. They're just kind of looking at, first of all, you have this really unique weapon that no one's ever seen before. They're all used to having, their revolvers and their rifles, but this is, you're a foreigner, plus the fact that you have a very unique looking firearm. So you got everyone's attention, and like the crowd right now is probably gathering into like 25 to almost 30 individuals are starting to huddle around, looking intently at your next shot as they blindfold you.
Yeah. So he aims and then he silently whispers to himself, Alejandria.
Once again, 20. Once again, you take a good breath as you release your air. Boom! Once again, loud, ear-piercing crack, echoing through the alcove, as the glass shatters right in front of everyone's eyes. Everyone just goes, "Whoa!" Everyone at this point, they're just like more of a cheer than just more surprise at this point. As you pull off the headband, the blindfold, you can see that there's another smoldering hole right behind where the bottle was once before. As you look over, you could see your opponent. Well, I'm up. Oh, say, where can I get one of those? as he's looking over at your pistol.
Unfortunately, my friend, this is a one-of-a-kind design from the Azarian technological advances. Yours truly, and the Elma Corporation.
You know, I've heard of that. You got it from the Armor Corps. Say, how much that thing costs? I mean, is it something that, they still producing?
My friend, you probably find something of a knockoff, but this is, like I said, one of a kind. This is invaluable. You wouldn't be able to afford it.
All right, yeah, say whatever you like. I get the message that you're just trying to blow me off. All right, yeah, you know what? Good luck on that. I just say it's probably a cheat. There's something with that weapon. I'm pretty sure about it. You see him walk off, just disgruntled.
When he called me a cheater, right?
In other words, he's just saying the weapon probably did more than what you were capable of. With that, you gain 90 gold from throwing in 30, and Hellscream, you gained another 3. As you can see him walk back, and you can see like some of his other buddies are like shoving him. Like one of them is like hits his shoulder like with a really hard fist. And he said, "Oh, I just lost 20 on that. You better pay up." As they just keep walking off, you could hear like the frustration between everybody. As some of them that lost their money, and then you could hear some of the other ones that actually gained off that. It's like, oh, you should have seen your face when he hit it.
It's good to win sometimes. Did you see his face? Hellscream.
I made a pretty little penny on you.
Oh, just a penny?
Yeah. I didn't want to go too big. I didn't want to scare them off.
No. Well, I hope next time you go big, hey, there's always a sucker every corner.
Yeah. Oh, and I was buying dinner.
Not tonight, my friend. But that's definitely in. I definitely owe you 2 fish.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, it's coming.
You guys are not far from a river.
Hey, this is a storm right now. We gotta wait.
Speaking of, as as you continue with your festive challenges, there's a not so violent wind passing by. You can hear as the whistling sound breezing through parts of the alcove. There's a good darkening followed by that, as well as you can see flashes of light coming from outside. Perhaps within the first 2 hours or so was the worst of it as you guys continue off. Those that do notice, you can see that May is in this trance for a better of at least for those majority of those 2 hours. Much more so than you've ever noticed, as she's just in this motionless state. Evening begins to fall upon you as the storm begins to ease off. As you can smell the aroma of the cooks beginning the last supper of the evening. As some of them come by to offer the rest of you guys. Those that do notice, it's a form of stew. Nothing fancy, but just something that has like a bunch of vegetables and some meat, essentially, that you just kind of, it's kind of like hard to identify.
I gladly take some.
And those that do, go ahead and return a hit die for yourselves.
Yep.
As you do go on to rest for the night. Those that need to heal, go ahead and use whatever hit dies you like, if you do need to. And half of your hit die, a number of half your hit die be returned. The next morning follows as you had an uneventful evening, as this is probably the first time in a long time you guys had rest without even worrying about taking post or having a lookout. No sense to pull guard duty, as this whole place is just fortified with many individuals you feel that are competent enough to protect you. Next morning, you see some of the soldiers start to mobilize. One of them come towards you, a younger male, probably in his early 20s. The first lieutenant is actually posting to look for you. You mentioned some of them will be heading route towards Vania, which I believe he said you were all making your way towards. And he is adamant to perhaps escort you halfway, if you like. So he looks over at Hellscream. There's like a hesitation as soon as he kind of noticed how tall you were. Hellscream like really quick. It's like, holy shit. There's a sense of not fear, but there's definite intimidation on like, and he looks intimidated for sure. As he's the younger guy looking at you.
Don't let him scare you too much. But don't be not scared of him either.
Oh, yeah, it's good advice. Anyway, if you aren't so keen to kind of gather your things, and he'd be meeting you at the front gate, actually, probably within the next half hour or so.
Sounds good. He starts to gather his stuff and just kind of helping Hellscream get suited up with Voxy.
As you guys gather your stuff and begin to approach the front gate, you see First Lieutenant Inus not necessarily just waiting for you. There seems to be like an active sense of activity that he's kind of getting information and directing certain individuals. As you do see that there is a small platoon at the ready with waiting for commands, essentially. As you guys begin to approach, hope you had a pretty good night's sleep. I generally like to sleep when storms pass by. I don't know, it's kind of invigorating. It's knowing that you have such a force of something unfathomable, just lurking above. I'm assuming you're all ready for the travels, of course. Uh, where's that? Oh, there they go. As he's looking over, like waiting for the rest of the group of explorers to kind of make their way. As you can see them slowly begin to gather towards the gate. All right then. Hopefully you don't leave anything. Wouldn't be sure if you want to trek all the way back over here. And you all begin to make your way further south once again towards Venier. Another good 2 hours, 3 hours pass by as you begin to approach the familiar area where you first met with the original checkpoint of soldiers that had posted up there. These are definitely, you could see more of them are more in the clad armors with particularly crude older weapons, more crossbows with more melee weapons. You could see that there is a sense of automatically, as soon as you arrive, there's a sense of respect, greater respect towards Lieutenant Inus and his platoon. There is a sense of immediately with the first few members that begin to approach. There's a quick draw of like at attention and gathering of information as requested. You begin to Lord Inus. Lieutenant Inus at this point begins to separate from the rest of you guys as he mentions, "Oh, this is as far as we take you, and let the five guide you on your way back."
Well, we appreciate your hospitality, and we hopefully may pay it back to you in some way.
I understand you managed to trek through these dark times. Seems that there are definitely things brewing within these regions. The past few days, there have been more sightings of randomness and mysterious creatures that people have sworn by that have seen. Just be on the lookout. We've seemed to be encountering strange times.
We'll keep that in mind. And thank you for your counsel.
Thank you for yours. It's been it's quite pleasant talking to someone, with different experiences and gathering same interests.
Likewise, it's refreshing to see someone with the same kind of journey, except yours is still going in a positive direction compared to mine. That is.
He gives you just a hearty, like, warrior's handshake. As he does so, he looks over at you, Hellscream, actually, and nods over towards you, but then also towards, like, your weapon you carry. Yeah, perhaps next time you pass by, we can share a few pointers with, with the longer the variety of weapons, right? Have many I've met enough that are worthy to carry such a weapon. Perhaps you could show me a few tricks or two.
Is this the same guy that did the shooting contest?
No, this is Lieutenant Inus which carries also a pole arm. But you did notice that at the end of the pole arm, there's definitely something different from it, as he struck down one of the Ravagers with an explosion at the end, almost like a similar to like almost like a firearm. And it's because you could see like there is like the sense of like black smoke when he did it. Go ahead and make a perception check really quick, actually, as you kind of looking upon like his weapon even more.
I'm actually seeing that he's Hellscream is interested in his weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do like a just kind of analyze how his weapon works?
I'm gonna say, since you go ahead and roll a investigation with advantage, since you kind of mechanical aspect of it, you have since you have great understanding with it, and you were kind of around him for a good minute. I would say with that roll will determine if you kind of have a good idea of how it's made. It's kind of rare that you get these moments where just the mechanical aspects of certain things escape you. There is something strangely foreign to what he has. You're not too sure. Okay. Yeah, you're not too sure on the origins on it, and or for matter of like where you would have probably gotten such a weapon. Perhaps in the future you can probably figure out exactly, like through kind of creating schematics. You could try to figure out what he might have done, like in terms of like research. But as like I said, it kind of escapes you, like the mechanical aspect of however that was created, the engineering behind it.
How does Hellscream react to his weapon?
Sadly, I rolled a 5 on my perception.
You can't tell exactly what is up with that weapon, but you would have definitely noticed when he crunched down onto the halberd, and after it was like embedded on the top of like the Ravager, there was like an explosion at the end of it. It's not hard to notice that happened. So you know there's definitely something odd, different with whatever weapon he carries. As he departs, and you guys are left at the post. You see him and his platoon go into this smaller camp and just kind of disappeared within this outpost.
Yeah. I saw the way you were looking at that. I can't tell with the mask, but it looks like you want a toy just like that, huh? That was to you, Hellscream.
Sorry, what was that?
I was commenting on you looking at his weapon and saying, I know you, and it looks like you would want a toy just like that.
Who wouldn't?
I don't know how he did it, how it was created, but I'll put it pen to paper and see what I could come up with.
Magic? Special stone?
Something. But how is it put together? It's what I'm concerned. We might find another way.
You guys begin to wander and begin to march towards Vanier.
Yes, carry on. The journey continues.
At this point, you
Hey,
know. Go. I'm
I
sorry.
have to go. I'm sorry, I have to go.
No worries.
My kid just woke up, so I'm gonna take care of her.
It's fine. We're about to close the session anyway.
Okay.
As you guys begin to trek down further into, further along the road towards Vanier. By the way, this is the new map of the region. We're gonna pick this up next session. Hopefully not this weekend, the following weekend.
Cool. All right, buddy.
So fortunately, we still have players with issues in their current situation, which hopefully in 2 weeks it becomes less of an issue for them and they get better living conditions and situations.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's rough. But yep, here's the new map of the region, at least. As you can see, Lothesi and Zigoria, at least the two kingdoms. This representation of where you guys are at the moment. So you guys originally. So I made a mistake. It was supposed to be Whitford, which was the guy what Roland had should have mentioned. But
Whitford, okay.
Where you guys were coming from, quote unquote.
Oh, but that's somewhere like in here, right? Like in the middle.
You guys
came from
were
Holmesford.
Yeah, you guys originally came from all the way from Holmesworth. You guys were around this region right here when you guys were in the ruins. What you guys ended up doing, because this right here is kind of like a cliff, and that's how you guys climbed that area before. What you guys did basically was go from here and go all the way around to avoid the cliff and take the path down the river, basically.
Cool. Plenty of land.
Yep. More to go.